All right, here with former world champion multiple times, Layla McCarter. Layla, I opened my Facebook message a couple days ago and saw a link from you. You had been named the #1 or the mandatory challenger for Cecilia Brækhus from the IBF. First of all, tell me how that came about.
Well, the IBF contacted us one morning on Friday and told us that we were considered the mandatory and they were going to make a mandatory fight for Cecilia. And that made me really happy. You know, it's about time. It's been years that we've been the #1, and finally an organization is stepping up and saying, okay, let's do this.
Of course, being named the mandatory doesn't mean the fight's going to happen. Anything can happen. Do you feel, though, that gives a pretty good chance that you are going to be the one that actually fights her next? And do you think that she wants that?
God, I hope so. That's a lot of questions in one. You know, it's been pretty clear that she hasn't wanted that fight to date, but things change, and maybe she's out of other people to fight. So, and the IBF said she was due to fight a mandatory in 2015. For whatever reason, that never happened. So, it's a good step forward in making this fight possible.
So if she doesn't fight you, apparently she could be stripped of her title. If that's the case, you'll be fighting for it, but you'd rather have her?
I'd rather have this fight, 100%. You know, they could strip the title and I could fight somebody else in the top 5 for it, probably. But honestly, I'm a lightweight naturally, and I've been rated #1 welterweight, and I've stayed there to make that fight possible. But I can fight in any weight class from lightweight and up. And, you know, there's other big fights out there. Katie Taylor's coming up. So we'll see, but I really want to make this fight happen. It's been past due. It's time to prove who's the best.
You've obviously had a great career yourself. You know, you don't need anybody to add to your legacy. You won, what, 4 divisions, I believe, been a world champ. Anyway, but still, does this fight something you feel like you not need but really want to have to add to your legacy, or are you okay either way?
No, I really want this fight because too many new media out there claim that Cecilia Brækhus is the best. People who haven't followed women's boxing from the beginning. People who have followed from the beginning know my legacy, known what I've done throughout the last almost 20 years in the sport. Cecilia is fairly new in the sport as far as time-wise. I mean, she turned pro in 2007, and I'm also undefeated since 2007. So I can't think of a better way to prove supremacy in the sport than to fight each other. And I've got everything on the line in this, legacy-wise. I've got to do it, and I've got to beat her.
One problem with women's boxing, I think, is that we don't see the top girls fight each other a lot. It's hard for you guys to stay busy, stay active. How does a fight of this magnitude with 2 great champions such as yourself and Cecilia, what does that do for the sport itself?
Oh, that would be incredible. We need a big TV to show, like Showtime, to televise it on a championship fight. This would be huge for women's boxing to see 2 fighters at their best fighting each other. It'd be groundbreaking. And also, this is the first time I've actually felt the motivation in a long time. I'm feeling a real burn for this fight.
Yeah, has it been difficult for you? You've been pretty inactive recently over the last couple of years. I've talked to you here and there. I know the frustration. So how is it? How do you maintain, you know, working your hardest, keeping your best shape when your status is unclear?
Well, like I said, to defend my legacy is very important to me. To never lose again in my career is also very important to me. I've come a long way since the beginning, and I've learned how to dominate. And a lot of things I didn't know in the beginning, I learned along the way. Lack of amateur experience made it necessary for me to learn on the job. So right now I feel the best that I've ever been, and I want to prove more and keep going as far as we can go.
Where was your first? Was it lightweight? Was that where you won your first title, or your lightest weight?
First title I won at featherweight, actually, 126 pounds, and I fought as low as 122 in my career, super bantamweight, and I fought as high and won a belt at 154, super welterweight. 7 divisions, basically. Yeah,
I would say. So does this a win here over Cecilia Brækhus? You know, the it girl at this point right now. Where does that put you all time amongst your peers?
Well, I've always considered myself the #1. Of course, you know, as a fighter, we all think we're the top, but I really have I think this fight is important to prove that I'm #1 to the wider boxing audience. She has a big following in Europe, so you know, they get to see Layla McCarter maybe for the first time.
So she's huge, as you said, over in Europe there. She doesn't really come out of, I don't know if how many times she's fought outside of you know, Europe. So Once, okay. So where would you like to see the fight? And do you think there's a chance that it doesn't happen in her backyard?
Yeah, you know me. I fight anybody, anywhere, and I feel pride when I give somebody their first loss on their home territory. I've done it many times before, and I'm more than willing to do it again. But ideally, I think this fight deserves a big venue in Las Vegas, as should any big fight. You know, big venue in Las Vegas, big TV, and take women's boxing to the next level. That would be my dream.
And then finally, what is it about her that makes you so confident you can beat her, considering the success she's had?
Well, she's a big girl. She's a natural welterweight, and she's very, you know, she's good as a fighter. She's decent, but I don't think she's faced anyone like me, and I don't think she's technically as sound as I am. I think I've just got more experience and a lot more tools, and I think she's a little too slow for me.
All right, well, we'd love to see it. As soon as we have something official, I'd love to talk to you about it. Thanks, Layla.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate everybody out there supporting the fight and supporting me, and thanks a lot.